Fabi. Thank you for watching. I'm on a roll today. I'm recording so many videos, and this is actually a lot of fun. I think I might do this. I have to set up time where I block in my schedule for YouTube videos and then just record them. Let's see. I'm also going to be recording videos in Spanish very soon because I do speak Spanish natively, but however, English, I've been, living in the United States since I was about 10 years old, so English is just a natural way of me communicating, except at home. So it's about time I start as well reaching out to the Spanish-speaking only community that might be on YouTube and might need this help and guidance as well. So stay tuned if you speak Spanish as well. Let's see. I've been promising someone. I had several people send me messages on YouTube, mostly, about different entities that they have felt and different energies and orbs and things like that. And some people, in most cases, were either afraid or were confused on what they were experiencing. So I promised that I would make this video for them, okay? I have, like I said, felt energies my entire life, and I have seen entities since I was very young. I just didn't know how to handle it because I was so young and not exposed to anything and didn't have anyone to talk to, or at least, I felt as if I didn't because of where I came in this life. But as I told them, now I'm telling everyone, you really need to try to be aware of what kind of sensation you feel. Don't be overruled by fear. Don't let your fear judge whether it's a positive or negative entity. As again, I cover what's negative and positive. You can check it out in the videos before. So don't let fear of the unknown judge who this being is, okay? Just have an open mind. Just try to be aware of how it makes you feel. And if it makes you afraid, and it's not afraid of what's unknown, but the actual entity and the energy you feel is frightening, then you could do a cleansing. I have a shell. I wish I had taken it out with me, but I have a shell bowl, okay, where I use a sage smudge stick, and you can use this to clear an environment. Again, I have my Reiki attunement, so I also use Reiki on top of it if I need to, if I feel like it's necessary in a situation, and I just ask, divine guidance. I ask to help this entity move on. And it's very simple. Don't worry so much about what's right or wrong to say. Just speak from your heart and just, for example, I say, along the lines, you are not welcome here. You have to realize that you have already moved on from this physical world, and you need to move on to a divine realm, okay? That you have to be aware that you're no longer living in this physical world. Therefore, you can either move on, or if you're not ready to move on, you need to stop scaring me or you or whoever it is. Again, this is just an example. My family, my dogs, my cats, whatever it may be. Okay, and then you can use holy water if it makes you feel more comfortable. You can use, whatever it is in your religion. Again, it doesn't matter. There's no wrong way of doing it. What I would advise, though, is don't go meddling into like the Ouija board and things like that, because you may be opening other dorms and other bills that you're not prepared to handle. And then sometimes in a case of someone had done and meddling all this and then moved out of the apartment, not telling whoever came in to live that was all, this lost entities lost in their apartment because they opened the door that they didn't know how to control. So be very careful on that. I have never ever played with a Ouija board again because I was already aware of these things these spirits at a very young age, and I just knew enough common sense in me not to do that. But some people do it as a game and as a joke, and then they're very fearful with what comes across. So please don't meddle with what you don't know how to handle yet, okay? And if you have a case like this, then you need to contact a healer that will be able to help you cleanse this house, whichever's closest in your state, in your country, wherever it may be. Okay. I also had another person who was kind of interacting with the spirits, in the sense of when I did the reading, I mean, it was more like an energetic feeling. That's how I can tell a lot of things as well. I felt these entities sort of very amused with him, and they were playing with him because he had given them the opportunity to mingle and to interact, and they knew that he was amused about them. He was curious about them, so they were showing off, like changing colors, moving stuff, things like that. And they felt just very playful. And so I told him, I'm like, this is what I feel. If you interacted with them, you encouraged them to show off, to come show off on camera, so or to your friends or to your family or whoever it may be. So now you're feeling a little confused because you don't know what it may be, or you're feeling like maybe it's just past the entertainment point. You need to, again, do a cleansing and just ask them, but it's time for them to move on. So be very careful. If you're unsure on how to react and how to handle contacts with spirits and energies and entities, don't encourage them, because you may be opening bigger doors than you know how to handle, okay? As I mentioned to some people, I often have visitors, and when I was little, they used to terrify me. I mean, like I said, I barely slept because I was so drained from hiding under the covers and hoping that they would go away. And they did. They did go away for a while in my life. I didn't see them, and then they came back again. And they came back when it was the right time. I understand this now. I mean, at the moment where I was dealing with this, I didn't, but now I do. Let's see. And so I get visitors often. Like I mentioned, it's usually I'm very aware of scent and feel and just inner sensory guidance that I have. And sometimes, very often I get like cherubs, like baby angels and children, and pixies and fairies. They're very playful. And they're very happy. So sometimes I'm just sitting in my room and working and doing whatever I've been doing, and all of a sudden I feel their energies and they're just giggling and they're laughing. And this happened to me after I did the cleansing even more, where that entity that was very overpowering and frightening, when after I cleaned the whole entire house of him, I was, drawing in my room, and all of a sudden I was aware of so many little kids entities, little happy kids, and they were just rejoicing, and they were just so happy to the fact that there was no longer this bigger, overpowering entity keeping them from expressing their happiness. Okay? And so again, I help those cross if I need them, if I'm bothered by them. But if I'm not bothered, I just acknowledge that they're there, and then I said goodbye. And then they come in so often, and they just visit, and they say hello, and they just remind me that they're there. And that's okay. Let's see. Someone also asked me if I have ever experienced things being moved, if I had seen things moved. I haven't seen things actually physically move as I'm watching them, but I do get things moved around. And again, I explained to him that it's several other people, but I explained that I'm very connected to the earth, as I mentioned before. I am very connected to the fairies, and they're not fake, okay? I know that to those who might be looking at this video and are more of the logical mind, they probably think, oh my god, what is she smoking? And actually, I have never smoked anything. Which I find that's so funny, because that expression just cracks me up. It doesn't apply to me. But I have always been very connected to the earth, very connected to my fairies. I actually have fairies all throughout my room. If you would see on the ceiling, I have little shelves with little fairies and things like that. And I believe that fairies, and I don't believe, I know and I feel that fairies are little angels. Okay, so they're very playful, and they're very they're tricksters, and they're happy, and they like to mess with you sometimes. Sometimes they move things and they hide things. And I know I lost them there because, again, I mentioned I'm very neat and organized. So sometimes, like my closet is organized by certain, weather, season, colors, etc. And so is the rest of my room. So when things are moved, I'm easily aware of them. And at first, when I was dealing with this way back in the day, I used to be a little like, oh my god, what happened here? Who moved this? Why? And when I became more conscious of what I was aware already, I would just have conversations, and I would just ask them, okay, listen, this is very important, and I need this. This is I need something for work, or I need this for this, whatever. So please, give it back to me. And of course, the universe and the fairies and the source and our guides know better than what we may be aware of sometimes. So sometimes I would get my things returned right away if I needed them. Sometimes if it weren't that important, and I was just, needing them for the heck of my needing them, but it wasn't actually for the bigger picture, they wouldn't return them right away. And eventually I would find them in the spot where I looked before. So, again, I have had little experiences here and there, and just, I wanted to share this with people because I received messages of people, sharing their stories with me and asking me questions, and I just wanted to share this with you. So I hope it helps. If you still have any questions, of course, feel free to send me messages. Again, I will be having a website soon, so you can, I will create some sort of a blog or something like that where we can communicate more, and you can share your experiences with me, and I can give you any bit of advice that I can help you or help you work through something, etc. I'm looking forward to everything, and thank you so much for interacting with me. This is fantastic. I love it. Thank you so much.